Hello world, my name is Ihor, welcome to my studio. I do not play many live shows, neither I travel a lot with my gear. However, later this month I'm going on a camping trip with my friends where I want to play some live music with this trio of DIGIs. And I will not be the first one to say that bringing your gear from your studio to the site is very painful. Because imagine these three DIGIs, really. Just three of these, right? Nothing else. You'll have to bring each of them, secure them with some leads, make sure they stay in place. Then you gotta put them in something, right? Cables, audio cables, MIDI cables, power bricks. So you disconnect all that from your studio, you bring it to the site, you put this on a desk, you connect all of that, make sure you connect all of this correctly and it works. And then after the show or whatever, the process is reversed. You disconnect, you pack everything, you bring all of that back to your studio, you connect it in the studio, make sure it works correctly, it's all right. And it's very painful, even for these three boxes. But now try to add something additional to this, like another machine, like an Octatrack, or even a FX pedal, like Microcosm. Then your pain grows exponentially. And with all this in mind, I'm exploring on how to make this process much easier, more reliable, smooth, and actually a little bit more enjoyable. And I think I found a perfect solution for it. Obviously, it is a pedal board. So I watched Dave Mack's video about his approach to the pedal board quite some time ago. Ricky Tines recently posted quite a few videos about his live set and the huge pedal board with the flight case. And I got a lot of inspiration from these videos. I'm gonna put links in the description if you're interested to watch them. And while these guys were exploring their setups for a live set, really, they went with huge pedal boards with a lot of gear on them, everything connected, and so on. I really wanted to kind of replicate my studio with these three DIGIs so that I can plug them out of my studio with ease, bring it somewhere securely, plug it in with ease, play, and then do the reversed process with ease again, and then they are back to studio and everything works. Now, let me move these DIGIs aside. And now, meet the perfect pedal board for DIGIs. I'll wait for it. The perfect pedal board for DIGIs. So this is a Rockboard Tres 3.3 pedal board with a flight case. Inside of the flight case, we have these soft paddings everywhere that can protect your gear. And now, let me do this. So this is a pedal board for effects pedals. You can fit from 9 to 14 different effect pedals, depending on the size. It is quite an expensive one. So in Europe, it is around 240 euros. In US, it's around 350 bucks. It is 72 centimeters wide and 26 centimeters deep, which is exactly enough for three DIGIs. And it weighs, around 1 kilo, maybe 1.5. The idea of the pedal board is very simple. You put down your pedals on it, you actually attach them with hook and loop fasteners, aka Velcros. One goes to the pedal board and the other goes on the pedal. They attach perfectly. All the power and cable management goes under the board through these holes, and then you attach them with some fasteners as well. And as a result, you have a very clean, ready-to-use interface in front of you, or your feet actually. And when time comes to move this pedal board elsewhere, it is an easy task to do. You disconnect it, you put it into the flight case, and done. And we're gonna be doing pretty much the same thing, but instead of pedals, we're gonna have samplers and synthesizers. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by any company. This is all my personal opinion. However, this video is supported by those of you who are subscribed to my Patreon page. I really appreciate your support. And if you're not subscribed and considering, check the link in the description, but you don't have to do it. Anyways, let me show you the DIGIs. So the Digitakt, this is the OG, Digitone, and you have probably guessed it, the Syntakt. And there we go. We have 3 of them on it with some room in between for cooling, some room over here for cable management that goes into these holes under the board, and they fit just perfectly. And I like it a lot. And that's where this Pedalboard actually takes it even further. Let me show you something. So this company has so-called mods. This is mod V2 something. This is actually a patch bay that you can install in one of these openings over here. Look at this. This is 4 TRS jacks through, 2 MIDI through, 1 USB through, and 1 power through. So you install it over here, you connect all of your cable management to the patch bay, and then you have your interface not even on the DIGIs, but on the Pedalboard itself, including the power. And I think this is amazing. They also have a drawer, which is also cool. Like you very much have a drawer, like a little spinning drawer that you can put some cables or some stuff in it. But this kind of stuff, and they have different things like that, like with XLR stuff or more TRS jacks and whatnot. That's super cool. But they are sold separately. And the next steps are to attach the hook and loop fasteners to the Pedalboard and DIGIs, which I have already done for the DIGIs. And then do all the cable management under the Pedalboard. Let me remove these. And here you do all the cable management. And I think it will make sense to be looking at the complete solution from now on. There we go. Don't get scared, a lot of cables, but I think it actually looks clean and neat. So this is that patch bay that I was talking about, already installed. This is a drawer. I'll show it when we flip it back. These are the power bricks from Elektron. They are attached with hook and loops as well. And this Pedalboard over here has these 2 legs or supporting things to make the whole like Pedalboard stronger, but also they serve as a very nice compartments to hide all the unnecessary hanging cables. So I don't have that many fasteners here because I very much put a lot of cables, just wrap them a little bit and put them under these compartments and then screwed them in. And now let me explain real quick all the connections on the patch bay from left to right. It's very easy. Again, as I mentioned before, this is a through patch bay. There is like no magic. Something you put here, you get it here, and so on. Like 4 audio, 2 MIDI, 1 USB, and 1 power. So first A and B, 2 cables, they go right over here. This is gonna be output from the Digitakt going all the way here. And these 2 black and red are going here. This is output from the Syntakt. And these yellow and blue actually go from the Digitone into the Syntakt. So my connection is like Digitakt standalone or goes into the Octatrack, and Syntakt goes into the other inputs of the Octatrack, and the Digitone goes into the Syntakt to get the ducking and analog effects block thingy. Again, Digitakt, Syntakt, and they go all into the Octatrack, which happens to have A, B, C, and D inputs on the Octatrack, and here as well. So it makes it even simpler for me to connect this thing to Octatrack if needed. For the MIDI cables, the blue one is an in, so I get it from the Octatrack or from something else that then goes into the Digitakt, from the Digitakt over the yellow cable into the Digitone, and from the Digitone over the yellow cable into the Syntakt, and from the Syntakt back to the patch bay if I need to connect something else, like clock for the microcosm, for example. USB I left not patched yet, but I'm also planning to put some USB hub here to connect all the USB cables as well, because I use overbridge, and it would be nice also connect just one cable and have all of them connected. But so far it's empty. And then the power. And with power, it was a little bit tricky. I was exploring these different solutions, even this power, like one for everything power brick for pedals, which I'm not sure. I don't think, like, I'm not that good at electricity and understanding how like 5 milliamperes works and all that stuff, if it's sufficient for the Syntakt to run or whatnot. So, and since I was just going for the 3 DIGIs over here, I decided why not to connect these 3 bricks over here. But I needed some kind of like a cable DIY solution for this. So the patch bay has the slot for C14 plug, and these 3 Elektron power bricks, they have slots for C7 plugs. So I made a very cheap solution. I got this plug with some cable, and then C7 plugs with the cable which are hooked, and then connected them with these Vagos things over here. So let me quickly show you how it looked like. And here you can see the cable that I already finished. So there goes C14 plug that goes into the mod. Then we have these Vagos here that are pretty much connect cables together. So 4 cables go here and 4 cables go here. And then, yeah, these 3 C7 connectors with different cable length that's gonna be connected to the Elektron power bricks underneath the pedal board. And now let's try to connect the whole thing together and see if it works. Also on top over here, I put only 3 rows of, I believe these are loops or hooks or whatever. These are loops, yeah. Of loops, and also with some like empty parts over here for legs, so that like the DIGIs, they stay a little bit more stable. And since this is not going to be very flexible pedal board for many different gear setups, just for these 3 DIGI boxes, I think it's just fine. And now, yeah, let's bring the Digitakt. To fit it nice, it has to be very much, must be at the very bottom of the pedal board. Nice. And then we connect left and right, and then we hide those cables. Oops. Like this. We connect the DC in and the MIDI out of the Digitakt. Actually, this is MIDI in, and this is MIDI out. The Digitone, this has to be in the middle. These 2, L and R, and MIDI in, DC in, to the MIDI out. Nice. And the Syntakt. So DC in, the cable in a little bit. So this is MIDI in, this is MIDI out, the main output for the Syntakt. And these are the outputs, actually Digitone outputs that go into the Syntakt. And I promised, look at this little drawer over here. Isn't that cool? Like I can put a sticker in it. Well, it doesn't fit. And it also clicks over here so that like it stays in place, you know. Nice, there we go. And you know, this is it. Like now it's a matter of connecting power, audio interface here, and then MIDI if needed. And that's pretty much it. How cool is that, really? And then you bring it into the studio and super fast and super clean. Now let's try the elephant in the room. Does it actually fit into the flight case? The moment of truth. Well, it must fit because it doesn't go outside of the pedal board. But will it close? Yes. Well, I think I have to apply a little bit of pressure on top, but I think it's fine. I think it's just knobs touching this soft foam over here. I don't think it's going to be something horrible for the knobs. Or actually maybe some cables. No, not really. I was thinking if it's not going to fit into the flight case, I would just try to remove the little legs on the pedal board to make it a little bit less tall. But it fits. Look at this. Well, it's pretty heavy, but it's really the rig, you know, which you can bring anywhere. That is extremely cool, I think. I love it. And now let's try to power it on. And I'm gonna bring the Octatrack. It's gonna be a little clunky, but let's try, why not? So there goes the Octatrack. I think I can put it somewhere over here where I don't have the interface. Connect the power. Connect the power to the Octatrack. So MIDI out of the Octatrack. So I want to test the whole thing, right? The whole idea. A goes into the A. Oops. You have to stay here. Whatever. Look at this. Octatrack, Syntakt, Digitone and Digitakt. That was extremely fast, I think. With just 4 audio cables, 1 MIDI cable and power brick for the Octatrack and power cable for the three of these guys. Let's also connect the Octatrack to the audio interface. And now, finally, let's try and see if it works. I'm gonna start the sequence and everything is running, really. So the MIDI works. And now let's try to play some music, just a little bit. think I'm getting carried away a little bit. Yeah, it works. Works pretty good. All right. Let's talk about some pros and cons. For the pros side, definitely the movability of that thing. It's very concise, small, relatively, with not that big travel case or flight case. And I really enjoy the connectability of that thing. The whole thing is connected. So you switch off the machines, you disconnect just a few cables, and you are good to go. Even without going for the patch bay, just having these guys and just connecting them straight, these 4 cables over here, wouldn't be that big of a problem as well. So if you want to go a little cheaper, that's also fine. But I think, again, movability and connectivity of that thing is amazing. Also, there is some flexibility. For this setup, for example, you can get rid of 2 machines and put the Octatrack. It will fit. There's going to be a little bit more space even in between, and have one of the digi boxes here, or 2 digi boxes with analog heat, because analog heat is the same size. Or, for example, replace one of them. Like, I'm planning to try the new Digitakt over here instead of Digitone, or whatever you come up with. So I think the flexibility also is a very good thing. And for the cons side, I think it's very nitpicking, but still, why not? The legs. So they're kind of plasticky, and I think they're meant to be staying on the floor on the stage, which is already kind of like rubber or whatever, so it's not gonna move too much. But on the desk, they are a little bit like, yeah, not very, like if they would be a little bit more softer, made like from rubber or something like that, it would be a bit better. But I think I might be able to replace them because they're like, it's easy to screw them in and out. And that's where another cons come, because you have to screw the legs and the compartments with bolts and nuts, but there are no washers in between, so why? And also they're like super tiny, and in some places where it's hard to access. So it was a little bit tricky to screw these legs in, and to hide the cables under the compartments that I showed before, you actually have to screw them out, the legs. So remove the compartments, put all the cables, and then with the cables in, try to put a nut under the compartment to screw the bolts in. It wasn't really a smooth experience. So another con is getting the pedal board outside of the case. So it's a little tricky because it fits very perfectly. So, but yeah, I found like a workaround. I kind of pull here, and then, yeah, I get it out. And the last one, as you saw before when I was closing the lid, so the phone touches the knobs a little bit. So I'm sure it's not that bad, but I know maybe that's just me, but I would rather have leads like these guys on top and then in the pedal board. That would be perfect, but that doesn't fit into the pedal board because it's too high. I'd like to take those, for example, to cover on the stage or something, you know, on the camping especially, but then I'll have to carry those separately. Yeah. So I really enjoy this solution, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope you learned something new for yourself that you can apply to your own music production workflow, or at least got inspired to go and make music. There are several ways to support this channel, and first of all, you can like this video, leave a comment down below, subscribe to this channel, hit this bell button, or use a super thanks with a $sign somewhere over there, and do this all good YouTube stuff so that algorithm picks this video up and brings it to the larger audience and helps this channel to grow. There's also a Patreon page at patreon.com/Ihor where you can support me, and you can also use affiliate links to all the different gear that I feature in my videos and in my studio, and all the links are in description. I really appreciate you, and until the next time, have fun.